Find someone else to win. Yeah, I have loads of girls going. She might. Yeah, I have loads of girls going. Yeah. So, you never know if you do. Yeah. So this will be. Maybe we should get our money back this job. They're not going
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. The full complement tonight. Very good. Right, before we start, please note there was no planned fire alarm test during this meeting. Should the alarm go off, we ask that you exit the building calmly and quickly using the stairway, not the lift. Please avoid the lift at all costs. Should you have any troubles with mobility, please let someone know now and we will assist you with the need. Yeah. And before we start, mobile phones silent or off, please. Thank you. Right. Prayer.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Lord's Prayer unless you want to say it.
I amazed you can say, I didn't know that one.
Right. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. Right, receive apologies for absence. We're almost fully complimented.
Is Caroline missing?
Is any apology? Okay. Right, that one absent. No. Right, receive declarations of interest to deal with any disclosure to members of any disclosable pecuniary interest or interest other than pecuniary of any item on the agenda. Any? Okay. Right, receive and agree the minutes of the ordinary meeting held 13th of March. That's the last full council. Have you all read it? Yes, and we're all happy with it. Can we have a show of hands, please? Yep. All done. Thank you. Flying to my number. Right. Receive reports from William, Norfolk County Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm only going to touch on one thing just because I felt it's been a little confusing for everyone this year. I get a local members fund, which basically the county council allocates £11,000 to me to use in your space, really. And I thought if I just run through what it can be used for, then hopefully this year we can be better at allocating it ready for projects going forwards. So I can do things such as advisory signs, such as unsuitable for high HGVs or 20-mile-an-hour signs as those schools. Capital measures to encourage more active travel, such as walking or cycling. Could be towards more significant work to public rights of way to encourage increased levels of usage. Minor drainage works. New non-regulatory signs and replacements of existing road markings such as slow that you see painted on the road. Minor traffic management projects, but we should note that as we already know from the 20-mile-an-hour scheme, they seem to cost a fortune to do not much, so money doesn't go very far with those. Day rate, basically we can bring in a gang of the county council men to do additional pieces of work such as pavement clearing or tidying up of areas, public footpaths, verges if the town saw fit. Other highways improvements, improved visibility displays, junction improvements, curbing work, etc. in conservation areas. Capital grants to either town or councils for highway maintenance, such as grass cutting or footway gritting equipment. I can help towards electric EV points, but obviously again they cost quite a lot of money, so it would only be to assist you with that. Tree planting, if the town was going to put forward some trees or an orchard, I can fund that for you. And that's about it. So it's anything within that life. And I'm moving towards more environmental schemes. So if there are things that you think aid the environment, we can normally scheme a way of making that happen. With my last year's member budget, we have allocated 2,000 to the town council for either bus stops or indeed that may have been swung across to benches and improvements for around a pond, I believe. So we have allocated some money to the town, but I have to say it's my biggest area. I would suggest I ought to be spending 5,000 or 6,000 on projects within your space in this future year. So I'm going to pause there, Mr. Chairman, as you've got such a big agenda.
Good long list there, William.
Yeah, it's a good long list, so we should be able to find things to spend the money on. Exactly.
Well, we will. Any questions for the county councillor?
Just ask if there's any update on the 2020 and asking for the proportion of the money back.
No,
I know you were looking into it.
I think the clerk met with Darren Walmsley, and I don't believe there was any movement on the money coming back, unless you wanted to scrap the scheme.
Yeah.
And I think it was surprised that you didn't want to
The
scrap
agenda
it.
for later.
Yes, that's okay. So we'll leave that until later in the agenda so you can face it.
William, Lars, question. Thank you. Yeah. Any other? Easy night, William.
That's how I like my evenings.
Okay, right. Moving on then. Brecon District Council, we had written reports already, but is any one of you who wish to speak on any item?
Like that.
I've already picked on you tonight, haven't I, Jacob? Yeah, I know. Mayor of Swaffham, you're supposed to mention him in all reports. Right, so any questions on the reports from Brecon Council?
Oh, just one. Movement on the Padley development.
I did write that on the report.
Yeah, I know you did,
Yeah,
but I wonder
There's
if
nothing else.
further update.
happening. They're still waiting for discussions with the
There's-
League Local Flood Authority.
Yeah, there is another planning application, which I won't mention here. It's held up the same way.
Lindsay?
Can we just say about the plaques that have gone up, which are lovely?
Yes,
But somebody pointed out to me yesterday there appears to be a spelling mistake on one. You
Yeah, I
picked it up.
yeah, I have had one or two spelling mistakes. And also to say on the plaques, 2 of them had to go to planning committee yesterday. And they were passed, so they will now be put up. One was on Oakley and one was for front of Plowright Place.
I was going to
Yeah.
say there's nothing on Plowright Place.
Now, that was one of those that went to planning yesterday.
So
They've
that's-
both been agreed. Yeah, so they'll follow on.
Good.
Any other question? John again.
Not a question, but I just like to know, I think they're great plaques.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an endorsement.
It's a history.
Any other questions for Brecon? No. So well tonight. Right, we now have a very rare opportunity to have a report from Paula, our Please
Mr. Mayor,
represent.
thank you very much. This is where it all goes horribly wrong, isn't
I'm
it?
sure it won't.
I get lots of questions. Thank you very much for inviting us here. As you're aware, your beat manager is actually PC Justin Johnson. I am the engagement officer. I cover all of West Norfolk and all of Breckland as well, but I work in partnership and very closely with all the beat managers. Justin has been on a day shift today, hence the reason why he can't make it tonight. And so I have very gladly stepped in on his behalf. He has given me a little breakdown to update the town council with. We'll go through this a little bit. So as you're aware, from our last SNAP meeting, one of the priorities we took on was tackling ASB, and we've put that along lines of tackling youth-related ASB. But what we particularly want to do is prevent youth-related ASB and actually highlight the positives that our youths do. And there are a lot of positives, and I do find that actually our youth of today, it's very easy to blame them whenever anything goes wrong. It's always the youth. Actually, some of them, that's a very small minority. But if I just go through some of this, both Justin and I have been in a few of the schools talking to the youths, and we hope that that has assisted with having a very low ASB return for this last quarter. We've had a couple of ASB reports for the Swaffham itself, and those are both neighbour related. We've also had 5 criminal damages, and again, they have been ASB related, where we've had a car keyed and some rocks thrown. But again, both parties are involved in that are actually known to each other. Other than that, when it talks about ASB and crime for the problem area, it's doing very well and it's very low. We've had a little rumbling of ASB in the Necton and Narborough areas, which Justin is all over and linking in very closely with. And I just want to highlight some of the great work that my cadets have been doing, particularly in Swaffham. They are Breckland cadets, so they can go all the way out down to Thetford, but we do meet at Swaffham Police Station here. Really like to thank Councillor Beach. She's been a great advocate and got us through to doing the Christmas Festival of Christmas trees. They went out assisting planting the saplings with yourselves as well during the half term. And only last week in the driving rain, it wasn't as good a weather as the other day when we were in Swaffham. We were actually planting up a verge in Great Cressingham, which was part of a neighbourhood dispute. So they did lots of planting there. Councillor Fabian Egan very graciously donated a lot of plants for us. They all got planted up, and Justin made up a wooden plaque to say that the verge has been planted up by Breckland cadets. So just want to highlight again, you know, it's not all doom and gloom for our youth. As Mr. Mayor says, it's not very often you get me here, so I'm very happy to answer any questions either now or in your public participation slot.
We got one here.
Can I say thanks very much, because your cadets volunteered to help with the car show this year in August, so
Yeah.
Thanks for that. But my main question is, the car outside or alongside the assembly room has been there for God knows how long. It's had no end of tickets, parking tickets put on it, and police aware or authorities aware or something like that. I don't know whether it comes into your remit, but is there any way we can put some pressure on to get that car taken away? It'll rust away before much longer.
It's abandoned, so yeah, that would be Breckland District Council, and there's a link on their website for anything that's suspected to be. It has a wonderful website. Just type in abandoned vehicles. You might not know if it's abandoned or not, so you can go in there. Breckland District Council will have a very quick look at it. If they believe that it's not abandoned and actually maybe stolen, it will come to us.
Hospital, I think.
Yeah, it will then come to us and we will look at it. But if we deem it to be probably abandoned, so not stolen, police are not interested, then your colleagues over in Breckland can arrange to have it. Yeah. Do you have you given the registration number to Justin on that?
Yeah, we know whose it is. The guy, it's the person who owns it's in hospital at the moment.
Oh, right. Okay.
So we were aware of it, and I think just
So if there's a legitimate reason then for it being there, and I would suggest that maybe if you link in with Justin and just say, look, let's keep an eye on this family member. Obviously, he doesn't want to come out of hospital and have 5,000 tickets on there. I'm sure we can find a way of working together to make sure he gets his car back in one piece.
The other question, we've got 2 more questions, Paul said. Maximum of 3.
Being
Anyone?
greedy, but
No.
yeah, I'm interested in the youth project. If there's any sort of low cost projects for youth, and I'm picking up where our county councillor has kindly suggested he's got his 11k of allocation. Is there anything there that we might be able to make use of, or ask Councillor Nunn to make
So
use of?
specifically with regard to the cadets, so Justin is the cadet leader and I actually run the Breckland cadet unit as a whole. Since last summer, so the beginning of the new term, we've started off a new initiative for our cadets, which is Cadets in the Community. And what we're actively doing is looking for those projects in our communities. So we've just at Great Cressingham in October, we were at Goodiston, tidying up an elderly lady who had been a victim of a burglary, her garden. We were all out there doing all of that. So if you're aware of any projects like that our cadets could get involved with, we'll do anything that will help. As you know, we'll plant trees, tidy up, we do litter picking and things like that. But I'm also very keen to foster they're interested in policing. So when I can teach them about crime prevention and being good neighbours and things like that, in addition to doing the work. So I say assisting an elderly victim of crime, they learn about crime prevention and looking at target hardening areas. And the Great Cressingham was to try and nip a neighbourhood dispute in the bud a little bit. And we talked a little bit about that. But yes, absolutely. If you've got anything that you think of within this ward, that we could possibly help with, litter picking, somebody who is in need of a little bit of extra help tidying up or something like that, festival of trees, helping out at any of your events, then please do just drop me a line.
Anyone else? No. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
Since I just battered on about my cadets, there's one thing I would like to ask you, Mr. Mayor. Would it be possible for you to consider bringing in the Mayor's cadets for Swaffham? Because you do have St John's Ambulance cadets, you have the Army cadets for Swaffham, and you've got the police cadets who are meeting here as well. We work that very well with our King's Lynn cadets units. It is a very coveted position for the cadets and they work very hard to get it. And it's quite an honour for them, and it's obviously very good on their CVs when they eventually leave. So I'd just like to ask if the town could consider that.
This is my number 2023 and 24 as the mayor. You would have a deputy, and I'm sure he would be very interested.
We've also, you've been come to our youth day, aren't you?
Yes.
So yeah, you could definitely have a chat before that, and yeah.
We have had a cadet. I had an army cadet when I was mayor a few years back, and we have had cadets before, so I'll be very up for it. So
There we are.
do you move on that one?
No problem at all. So thank you very much for your report.
Yeah, thank you. I will come back again.
Good. Moving swiftly on, we now adjourn the meeting whilst we have public forum. Any questions from the general public or anyone? I haven't hit the hammer yet. Right, now, if you could stand for the harder hearing.
It's actually not a question, but I think I'll use this opportunity during the public element of the meeting with the good grace of the town clerk. My name's Michael Nassis. I'm an area coordinator with Neighbourhood Watch. I've come here this evening to really introduce myself and my organisation, an exciting project that we're involved in across the whole of the county of Norfolk in conjunction with our good colleagues in the Norfolk Police. It's basically a project in a pilot stage, but it's very shortly to be rolled out of the county. And that's engagement between the public, for strengthening the bonds between the public and the Norfolk Police, particularly in a rural area like Norfolk. It's for some of our members and some of the communities do feel disenfranchised from the police, and their means of communication between the public and the police can be frustrating at times, if I'm being polite. And the purpose of this collaboration is to have people like myself who are coordinators who make direct contact and have ongoing contact with beat managers in the respective county, like in Swaffham, where it's Justin. I have contacts with another beat manager. That's Austin Clark, who covers the area between Dereham and Watton. And it's to align people like me directly with beat managers. And so taking the lead from what Paula does from the police point of view, her role is to engage with the public. My role is to engage with the public and our members across our areas and to champion and promote the activities of Neighbourhood Watch so that the voices in the communities are heard by having good contacts with the beat managers. And so that we can focus our energies of our members, spread thinly as they are in some areas, through people like me talking directly to beat managers and the local police. Project is being run from the police point of view for the community safety department of county police, and the funding for this project is coming from national government. It's basically to support the role of the police in the local area by better contacts with the community, and for the community to have means of passing on information and concerns, which you can do through staff meetings at the moment, but not everybody feels able to or physically can't get to staff meetings. And sometimes people like myself can act as their champions and pass on the community's concerns directly at snap meetings to make sure that people are heard and their concerns are acted upon. So it's the strengthening the bonds is what it's all about. And so my message here today is to let you know that I am working in this area. I have been to a couple of public engagement activities, one at Great Preston, one at Necton, and I will be, wherever I'm able to, meeting up with Justin Johnson and his activities in the area so that we can promote this collaborative work between what the police do and what we do as Neighbourhood Watch. It's not about, I know I'm stretching the privileges you're giving me, but basically sorry, let's leave it at that. I'm going to leave some business cards and some communication letters. It's got my email address, my telephone number, and if you want to contact me, you're welcome to, and I'll help in any way I can. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any others, the members of our rather full public gallery this evening? No one at all? No. See, no. So we can put the meeting back in session and start with my mini report. This last month, I attended the leader of Brecon Council's evening in the assembly rooms. Very nice too. Enjoyable evening. A photo opportunity to open Mr. Chips and Tutankhamun's. Yes, Jake, I was there. Very good. And also, I also went down the market to the St. Winnold's Parade, which is a very traditional horse parade from way back when. But they had 2 horses this year and an MP, so must be 18 years. So anyway, right. Paul, did you do anything for me?
Nothing really much. I was present at the unveiling of the cut across with all the flowers and all the ladies that did it and different groups, and I think it looks very good. They're still up there today. The wind hasn't blown them all away. There's still some of them there, so that was very good. And I think that, you know, the ladies should be thanked for brightening the town up.
It was, I believe.
It was, yeah, I'm sure they were, but
Yeah, and Bretland who given us the funding.
yeah, on the cost.
Okay. Right. So moving swiftly on 6.2 town clerk update on items not on the agenda.
So I have an update on Daysfield. Further testing has been carried out last week to test for chalk dissolution. They've met last week to go through the new road designs and road drainage plans. The team have been given a deadline of Friday the 19th to have all the new drawings and designs in, which will be submitted to Brecklin. Once it's resubmitted, they can then push for a committee date. They are more than happy to meet the town council again. I didn't know if you want me to invite them to the next planning meeting.
And we've got Crocus.
We have got Crocus that day as well. But
Who's coming to this?
so this would be the team from the surveyor team who I've been speaking to for Daysfield. They're like the agent. So would you like to invite them to the planning?
Yeah,
Or would
might
you
be
want-
worth having a.
or do you want a separate meeting?
Yeah.
I'd rather them come to the planning meetings.
Yeah.
Okay. Graham, the long-awaited cemetery signage is now ready for collection. So Graham will start on the board. Graham West will start on the walls for the signage that will go in. So he's just asked me, where would you like the signage exactly? We've got two to go in here.
On either side.
So is it like here on the front? Are we happy to have it here on the front?
Yeah.
Either side?
Yeah.
Be quite guided.
Maybe closer to the gate where come round the corner a bit there, somewhere there, one each side. So that as you turn in.
Yeah, so you
know
turn
where
in
you're
and
taking.
that's what he thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's looked at some brick and it will be, the one he's found is a heritage brick, which is sort of a red brick, and we're happy with him to go ahead with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent, good, thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Questions? No, I'm sorry, I thought I'd seen you send away. No, okay, any, sorry.
Can I ask for a brief update on the land registry progress of the shambles and the PAM?
Ham's been
That's been
finished,
done,
that's all
yeah.
been done. The shambles, yeah, I did give a report. So I spoke to the solicitors. We're waiting for a document to come back from the land registry. As soon as that comes back, she can move forward with the next stage. But I have chased them this month. So I'm just waiting for them to get this extra document back. I haven't let it go. It's still ongoing.
Questions for the clerk? No? Well, right. 724 to receive and consider late or urgent items at the chairman's discretion. I was contacted by Sarah.
Yes.
Who asked if I could pass on. Yes, we tried to help it. We will, this is for an information thing only. There will be no any votes or
Yeah,
anything
I did.
like that because it's too late for this agenda.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'll leave the ball in your court.
Thank you. Well, yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing us to come in. I think both motions are linked, and the main question I have in relation to the swimming pool is that after the 13th of December, when council agreed for it to be let as a public pool to an interested group, is it available to be leased to the SDMHA at this moment in time? That was the question, because there seems some discrepancy. And I think it's really important with what we're doing with that we follow things protocol to, correctly. I think my overall concern as a councillor representing people of Swaffham is that I feel that it's all being pushed through without proper thought and communication in full council. I voted, like most of us did, for a proposal to be explored in principle. I couldn't make, I think there were 2 meetings in 1 week, the next one. And to me, it feels to be very, very rushed. I also put time and effort in putting some questions forward, some submissions to that meeting. And I haven't seen any minutes of that. And it would have been nice to have had some feedback. I think one of the things that Councillor Eve said was a working party together with the group. And
And I thought that was a great idea because it's working together as our asset. And I know that there's been over, I don't know, is it 400,000 pounds spent on this and for a community asset. And that's kind of where what I'm passionate about, that we are providing facilities for all people of Swaffham. You know, we know that there's a lack of the arts, a lack of opportunity for theatre, a lack of swimming. So with regards to, basically for me, what was the rush? Why has there been not enough information to councillors about this, about the lease, about how it's going to run, how the pool was a last minute thing, I think, so it wasn't on the original submission. And so how is that going to look? Because obviously we're looking for a public pool. I know Helen messaged today to say that an idea about it being for the pool being done up, refurbed, being done for well-being and private hire. I think there are some questions that we need to explore about that model. Okay, Graham?
Not really.
The minutes of the meeting went out to all councillors, and the minutes of the working group that Leanne sent out on the 21st of February. So they did go out to all councillors.
Okay, but I can't remember seeing anything about specific items that I asked about.
I'll have to
So
look.
were they, it's just, I mean, I think it's important that we can actually openly discuss in full council, you know, because this is a big decision for the town, and we obviously all want it to work. So we all want it to work in the best way for both parties, for the whole of Swaffham. I think that's all I've got to say.
Try and answer something. The original proposal from the SDM,
Okay.
they did actually mention the pool. I actually thought, oh, they've changed their mind because, and then it came back up when we was discussing conditions for the lease. Yeah. And because their funding streams are a lot more open than we at this town council are, we thought maybe, just maybe, it would be better to get it open and running, even if it is for private hire, but also for mental health issue things, which I think is a fantastic idea. So I was fully supportive of it. And I believe everyone, every time at the meeting who was there, supported the idea that they take it and they run with it. They fund the replenishment or rebuilding of the pool, rather than the resources of Swaffham Town Council, which are very limited, I say, they are limited. And the fact that because we had to put a precept up this year, purely on the grounds that our reserves have been exhausted by the barn, etc. So the people of this town already paid for something, but it still had, after so many years, was going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's a time thing where we would like to see a finish.
Yeah, I understand that, and I understand the monetary thing that was discussed. I mean, I'm not, you know, whoever it goes to. I mean, as you know, that I've been looking at this pool for the past 2 years, and then that was made in December. However, you know, obviously we have been continuing to work. I'm not even talking about if we want to have the lease, but we have continued, and our last point was getting a feasibility study with an architect, which I have all the details for. But that aside, I still think before we lease it to any group, how it will be run for the public as a public pool. So it's not exclusive to the people who can just afford to hire it for an hour at £100, because that is what it costs. you know, I've done a lot of research on swimming pools. You know, swimming lessons, having said, well, you know, you've seen the, you know, our business plans in the past of how you do the sessions, how many hours you've had for private hire for different groups, elderly, women only groups, you know. So I'm just putting that forward that as a town council, why shouldn't we want to know exactly how things are going to progress? It's not saying, obviously, I want it to work 100%. I want to be able to swim in that pool, any pool that I can walk to, you know.
We all agree.
You know.
Any pool, but as for the private hire, you go to any public pool, how much you pay to get in?
About £5, £3 something. At the moment, I'm swimming. At
More expensive.
the moment, it's costing you £5.
Maybe 7, 8, 10
£3.75.
I know every time my wife takes the nephews, nieces, it's an expensive day out. It's not cheap because they take a lot of running. Now, if it's going to be a private hire,
Mhm.
then the private say 15, 20 people. That would pay for any hire charge of a family get together to go to the pool. I mean, I want the pool, but I want it open. I don't want the glorified duck pond with a bench in it.
No.
I'm sorry, but that's how I see it.
No, I know, but I mean, look at any, it's obviously not refurbed, is it?
Right, you've got a minute. Can I just come in? I've sit and listened to this year after year after year. This council has squandered nearly £600,000 on that insane project. Now we're asked, what is the rush? The rush is that we've had 4 years of blathering talk when nobody's done absolutely anything. Those people at the back here have done more in the short time they've been involved than the rest of you have done in the last 4 years. So let's just bear that in mind. The money that this community squandered on that place just beggars belief. 600 grand it's pushing, and you want to not rush. I think there has to
I
be a
don't want
rush.
to rush within, you know, 2 weeks of.
No, it's not that. We're looking at the last 4 years, and these people came along. They fitted the bill that we all who attended the meeting set. There was a unanimous vote to accept them. Let's just leave it at that and let them get on with it without all this lathering in the background. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely crazy.
Just wanted to say I did take exception to the word squandering because we own the building and we still own it. And that value, the cost of that building is still there. I mean,
Not the value, Les.
Yes.
Well, you wouldn't even get what you paid for it.
No.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. I know.
Yeah, could I just say that all council, I think most of them, if somebody objected, didn't vote for it, I don't know, but I think the majority of councillors voted to purchase the building.
Yeah.
So, well, maybe you were the only one that didn't.
Yes, you are the only one.
Everybody else
We're not here to have another argument debate.
was just pointing out.
There's a
The
proposal
majority of.
that can't be voted on tonight purely with the time scale. We have to do it for the legally. But we just want to see feelings, that's all. John and Paul.
I just want to put it to Sarah, that motion in December was passed a few months back, and your organisation did not contact the council about taking on that lease. No. Now, why not? Because you had every opportunity to do that.
I think we were obviously looking at this feasibility study, making sure we could spend the money, because the month before, if you remember, we asked specifically, please can we sit down with all of you, with Bretland, and look at this together. I mean, this isn't really about the Swimming Pool Society. It's not. It's about just making sure that we know exactly what everyone's
Expressed, sorry. Yeah. That's an impulse.
Yeah, I grudge a little bit what Graham said about us wasting 4 years on it, because as group, we got a group together to try and move the project forward. And every time, when we first bought it, we was hoping that the next day we'd be able to move in there and use it as a theatre and everything else. That didn't happen because of certain, it didn't meet the fire regulations and things like that, and the health and safety. It didn't meet all them things that we could do. And every time we went to come to the committee, to the council and said, can we have a bit of money to do this or that or the other? It was always refused by a certain group of people. Yeah. Sorry, hang on. You said,
I think you're going too deeply.
no, I think it's an explanation. It's an explanation.
No, that's a blame. That was
No,
a blame.
it is a-
No, that was a direct blame at a certain group of councils. That's not relevant in this discussion.
I
This
think it is.
discussion,
Sorry.
moving on. Thank you.
I think it
Moving on,
is.
right. Question for councillors. Would you like an extraordinary meeting to discuss this proposal further?
No,
No? No?
Sorry, I was outside. Which proposal is this, Mayor? Sorry, I was
The,
outside.
sorry, the two late proposals we can't see from Sarah and Jill. You.
Okay, but have we not been through this, discussed this with Melbody and we come to an agreement?
We have.
Yes.
Is that not underlined and done?
yes,
Do we feel like we're going over the same thing over and over again?
But we have to just try and appease everyone. I'm more than happy not to have an extraordinary meeting. I'm the chair. I just allow the councillors to make this decision, not me. But I don't want this to end in a bun fight again tonight regarding the barn or the pool.
Can I just come back on what Sarah said in her opening address? My support for some form of joint management, because I think that would mean that council would get best value for money. We would hopefully appease the people who think we're not going to use the place as it was intended. And I thought there was a lot of value in working with the people of Melbody, but that I don't think that got voted on. So that's where we're at.
John?
Just a point of information. If we don't have an extraordinary meeting, it can still go to the next full council meeting, can't it?
As long as they get 5 signatures to overturn your motion, yes.
Yeah. So I would leave it at that, personally.
I would like it sorted within the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Because we have a person who wishes to lease the entire building off of us. And I don't think it's fair that we hang them about any longer.
We're also, we have instructed solicitors and there is a running bill there, obviously.
the job's done. We've agreed it.
Right, Les?
Have we got details of the terms of the lease? Because and have we had sight of them? No.
They all went out, the heads of terms went out to councillors.
Yeah.
And then they've gone to the solicitors for them to prepare a lease, and they'll have the first draft that will go to the Melbody. But when it comes to the lease, that will be done because it's confidential. We will do that at the council meeting. But you have all had the heads of terms.
I thought that's the case. So if they're, I will have a look at that because that.
And you will have a chance to see the lease when it comes back.
Yeah.
And make any questions before it's finalised.
Just query, when did they go out? Because I think I might see.
February.
Yeah.
Ages ago, John. Okay.
Say that actually, I would, it's not about the Swimming Pool Association having spoken about this 2 years, because we've got a lot of information. I did say to Fran, we have got this information, we've got files of things that we have looked at, which, we would like to share. So I will wait for them to contact me as the chair if you'd like, but it will be valuable information to you about how the pool works, conditions of certain things.
But Melbody, I'll call them Mill MB, they have already said that they're happy to talk and meet with you. And that, to me, that is your way forward. You can't keep going back and scrambling all this again. Get together with them and do a deal, shall we say?
Well, I have I have spoken to you, haven't I?
There you go then, yes, you've answered your question, Sarah.
Jill,
Yeah. I just wonder whether the clerk will send out the heads of term scale, because I'm a bit confused about the differences between last week and this week. Okay?
So you will work with Mill Body as much as you both can to resolve the swimming pool. To try and work with them. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There you go, simple as that.
right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to close the meeting for a moment to allow Mill Body to agree to this proposal. Yeah. Meeting's closed for a moment. Mill Body, who would like to quickly speak?
Exactly. I'm not quite sure what I need to say.
Proposal from Sarah, that you share information regarding the pool.
Yes, I mean, I'm more than happy. I had a conversation with Sarah that is something that we want to move forward with. Obviously, we have said our priority is the barn itself because that structurally needs a lot of work doing to it. So that is where the money is going to go to start with. We don't want a building falling down next to it because the swimming pool will be pointless in the nicest way possible. We want it to be for the residents of Swaffham. We're not going to be charging £100 an hour.
I know, but it's just.
Why? But it was something that we
Further
wouldn't
extension,
do
you know.
because when we say it's a private hire, it's anyone can hire it. We can look at individual circumstances. We can work with subsidised groups who can maybe subsidise certain groups like the Swimming Pool Association that could then say, actually, we'll pay 50% of having all of these school children hire it between 3 and 7 every evening. You know, that's the kind of things that we can work with. We just want to make sure that obviously we're also protecting ourselves. We've put a lot of money already into this. We don't want to turn around now, but if we have to walk away, we will walk away. You know, there are other buildings, there are other opportunities. We want to keep it in Swaffham. But again, the backwards and forwards for us, I'm not going to lie to you, my job is evenings, weekends, and during the day at the minute with this project. I'm going to, the amount of times I message him on the weekend and ring him going, I've had a moment, do we have to think about this for the barn or do we have to do that? Everything that we've done in the clearing of the barn, we've gone to the town clerk, we've had admins in and we've had the staff in to check everything that we've done. We're transparent. We are happy for the staff and for the, you know, mayor or deputy mayor to come in and see what we're doing, or the working group, whoever you choose for that to be. We just want to make sure that we can progress, because if we keep stopping and there's stumbling blocks, we're finding it more and more difficult. Like, we're looking at staff hiring. We are looking at the arts. We had a lady that has had a business plan that brought to us yesterday, who's currently an art assistant, who wants to do art therapy, who's already found 7 art teachers in the county, one of them who works at the Royal Academy of Art in London, to come and do classes in the evenings and at weekends, working with school-age children during half terms in the evenings, that kind of thing. We are being proactive. May not look on the surface because we're just there in our overalls, you know, throwing things in a skip, but we are being proactive, and it's going to take time. It's not all going to happen as soon as we get the lease. We know that there is going to be a changeover period. I can't say that there's going to be a particular date when things are going to be done, because it depends on builders, it depends on availability, it depends on funds as well. But we have found a lot of funding streams. As you said, we are a charity, a well-established charity. And a lot of these funds, you cannot be a charity and apply straight away. You have to have a year's worth of your financial records. Then after that, you have to show that you're financially responsible after that year. So it can be 3 or 4 years before a charity can apply for anything. We've already had grant searches put into place, so we know what we can apply for. And we are being really proactive in that point of view. We've had a lot of our trustees who are very interested in the swimming pool and wanting to make it succeed. More excited about that, I think, at times than they are about the barn, but that's okay. And I just think that we want to work together. We want to progress it quickly because we want to be in. We don't want to be waiting. We want to get roof work done early in the summer, because if it's a horrible year like last year, potentially roof work's going to have to then be done in September if the weather's bad. So we want to get in and get on. So yeah, and searches have all been applied for and everything. So that's all done as well.
Thank you very much. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
like
it's
that.
okay, don't worry.
Right, meeting, no questions, back in session. Right, Sarah, does that appease you?
Yes, thank you.
It does. Good. So we can just move on now. Allow Mill Body to do its thing, and we, Swaffham Town Council, will do our thing. Okay, thank you. Moving on. There weren't other. No, there wasn't. Thank God. Right, to discuss and consider correspondence received. You've all read the correspondence.
Get into
Oh, no, we did have an issue with that.
it. I'm sorry today.
We did have an issue, but it's been ironed out now.
Yeah.
So maybe we can just, there wasn't, John. you keep waiting.
I find that system very clunky. The where the correspondence are, that's something. And then it's got correspondence going back way back, and it's just
We can have a look at that.
a pain to.
This will make it more user friendly.
I think that would be a good idea.
It's all in date order though, so you can just.
I know, but it's just, everything's there, and when you were trying to find out what the latest
We
correspondence
just have an answer.
is not being read or not taken to council, it's almost impossible. Real clunky.
Totally fine, thank you, Helen, for that answer of that one. So we will skip correspondence, yeah. There was one that was a little bit something.
Please excuse.
Oh, okay.
That's not a very kind thing, sorry, that's not a very kind thing to say. I mean, it's interestingly in things that make you anxious, and I think sometimes people react like that makes you anxious. I'm really, really happy to work with everyone, but I'm just extremely tired.
The disrespectful way that Councillor Edwards treats everybody is not up.
Thank you. Right. To consider quotes received for the boiler replacement for the museum.
Declare.
Hello, John. You're here.
They're interested.
Declaration.
I do my research up in that room over there.
Actually, I'm afraid to take it as well. so-
If you don't have a new boiler, I'll freeze in the winter.
I just want to say, we did look at grant application for boilers, but unfortunately as a town council, we're not eligible.
No, it's a
Because all the
shocking.
bills are in the town council name, so, but Graham's gone out, he's got 3 quotes. Although, you can see the quotes on there, which one you want to go for, or whether you have to wait.
Just ask, does that part of the building have a separate boiler to this more modern part?
There's 2 boilers, one for the town hall and one for the museum.
Right,
The
okay.
museums did say that they need, when it was serviced last year, they did say that it was on its last legs. And we do have we have it every week, it goes off and we get a call out fee.
So every time it turns cold.
Yeah.
it goes off.
The number 2 there company, they will, although it's slightly extra, they are going to replace the pipes that are leaking, which do need doing, which haven't been included in the other 2 companies.
That's the Bruce Tower.
Yeah.
is it?
Drake's, yeah.
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 And that's a complete refurb.
Yes.
Sorry, Wendy, then Paul, then Liz.
Sorry, what does Graham West recommend?
He-
Idea of.
He would like to go with Drake's because he spoke to them and they are going to do a little bit for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul?
Well, I was going to say, Sam, I think Drake's looks the better bit of the them all.
It works very well.
And they're local, so we've got, up the road if we do get any problems.
No, all the time. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to ask the Bruce Towers quote. They've included a pressure unit to keep the pressure in the system up. And the others haven't got that. And then I wondered if that had been identified as a problem that shuts the boiler off when the pressure drops.
Pressure vessel.
Yeah, it's a macro fill 3 pressure unit, keep system pressure on the primary side, heating constantly topped up instead of having to be manually topped up.
Graham didn't mention that to me. I asked him what he thought and
According to that, all 3 do pressure vessel.
Yeah, but that's this bit of kit, I think, automatically tops it, because normally you manually let more water in to expand the pressure vessel.
David?
I question the fact that Drake's are offering a boiler that's 50 kilowatts, depending on the
That's
sort
the
of requirement of the building, and the other two are 15
Yeah.
kilowatts more powerful. What's the requirement of the building?
Make you wonder.
You get an extra boiler for.
What Les is talking about, I've got this in my own house, that you don't have a storage tank anymore. And I realise that they're not going to have, but those vessels, they actually work with the pressure of the mains coming in. And there's nothing to top up because the various containers are full of water. And they're pressurised by the mains.
Yeah.
And so as the pressure drops, then the water comes in. So it's not a desperately complicated thing. But like he says, I wonder whether Bruce Tars have allowed for something different. But even if they have, that's still 4,500 nearly for a different in tank. And I don't think the difference in the quality of the product is there. The only thing I would say is that I don't know Drake's. I've never dealt with them personally, but I have dealt with Dempsey. And they are a very good professional organisation. That's not to say Drake's aren't.
Would you like me to get a bit more information on the size of the boiler and then we'll take it to finance?
Yes, please. Yeah,
Because that's in the 3 days.
Yeah.
I think because the kilowatt size is 50
Yeah,
opposed to
we'll just check
64.
that.
It's a
Then you
bit
can-
different.
Depending on how
Reach
much
size
it
goes
goes.
up.
Unless when we get the new doors, the new swing doors on there, it'll be warmer in there. Quiet.
Okay, I'll do that and we'll take.
Yeah.
You can
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, the
Sorry?
they should give you the requirement, but it works out cubic area for the size of the boiler, so
Yeah.
someone was.
Maybe they only deal on one side. Anyway, right, to consider endorsement of Norfolk Net Zero Community Project. Lindsay, I believe you researched this one, didn't you?
Well, I'm glad to hear that this has been brought back to council for a vote. As to whether we endorse this project, because I think it was at January's or February's full council meeting. I was under the impression that the trial was to be imposed on Swaffham without vote, so obviously somebody's had a change of heart. I still haven't seen the strategy for achieving net zero, the net zero delivery plan, which I believe was required by all entrants on application for the fast followers competition. So I haven't seen that. That's it.
John?
Yeah, I thought the I can't remember that guy's name, but he did answer that query. That excellent pictures said because of the strategy wasn't specifically oriented towards Swaffham. No, but it's like a survey really. It chose Swaffham as being typical, I think, to analyse it and then produce for all the communities in Norfolk net zero strategy. Not in the first place.
The criteria for entry in the competition to start off with, they had to have a clearly defined plan, which is all I wanted to see. But they couldn't enter the competition unless they'd actually produced and worked that out. And it'd be interesting to see.
Liz, please.
Yeah, I appreciate what Lindsay's saying, but to me, it's a no-brainer. It's not going to cost us anything. Nothing's going to be imposed on us. They're just going to use Swaffham as an example to formulate their methods and plans for disseminating all this information. And it seems to me we should endorse. We've got nothing to lose.
You want to propose that?
Can I just that we produce in this country, I think it's 1% of carbon emissions. I mean, surely they should be asking China and India first. Are they?
But we're not in China.
I know we're not. So we're not making much impact, are we? So why should we sacrifice our economy on the altar of climate change? But for that reason, I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Yeah, John, let's make your back to that, Lindsay. We import a huge amount from China. So that's all got embedded carbon in it already. I mean, we might not ourselves produce a lot, but we've got to show an example in the world that we're already, all the countries we import stuff from, that carbon's embedded. That's on our account.
I'm sure they're not going to be set on devastating their economy at the expense of ours, that's for sure. It's interesting, going back to the Drake's analysis, the last item on the agenda, when I think it was Drake's that actually responded to how expensive it was going to be. I don't think the figure was mentioned, to actually retrofit Swaffham Town Hall with an air source heat pump and the associated technology. I mean, he actually said it's just so roll that out across the whole county. It's going to cost a fortune. Who's going to be paying for it?
Can you aim towards me when you make your statements? Right, that's okay. Right, Graham.
Sorry, man. We've heard what Les has said. I mean, there's no downside. So I make the proposal that we proceed with it.
Just finish the round of.
Oh, sorry. Okay, then I'll make a proposal that we finish with it. No second. He seconded it eventually.
So, right. So it is no cost to us whatsoever. No. We do our little bit to help save the planet.
Yes.
And a really little bit, you all agree with that?
Yeah.
We have a proposer, Les.
No, Graham. I did. I'm fighting for it.
Oh, I thought Les was proposing this.
I agree.
To support.
Loved it. Seconded.
John seconded it. Right. Can we have a vote? Those in favour of the second?
Anything like go on, course you might. If you stick your hand up, go.
I'm abstaining because I'm not sure about it.
Those against?
Hello. You want to get 30 films off council?
Okay. Those against, sorry, Lindsay, and I'll just abstain because I'm totally away from it.
Yes.
Yeah. Not allowed to comment on the fact that my wife's Mercedes was poorly. And they told me Mercedes, because we've sent to Germany for the part came from China, obviously. But there you go, we're not allowed to comment on things like that. Right, to consider footfall counters that have been returned for consideration by special option under standing order number 7A.
Right. Yes, we went all the way through this, and we all had an invitation to come to a presentation, and those of us that did were all very impressed and felt that it wasn't explained really properly to us on that day. And what it is, it shows, it counts the heads, it doesn't show faces or anything, it's just the bodies, if you like, of people walking around and the cars and the shapes of cars coming through. And we felt that it was very well, and the fact is that because it's part of the HAS programme, it's not going to cost us anything for 3 years. So at the end of that 3-year period, I asked specifically this question: if we don't fed up with it after that 3 years, we don't want it anymore, we can say cheerio, and we don't have to pay anything after that 3 years. And that's it.
Okay.
So. You know, I can't see the downside to it, and it does. And one of my big things is the traffic and the congestion in the town, because the A47 was closed partly today, and the amount of traffic coming through the town was absolutely ridiculous. And I think this will prove to the people at highways and at the higher authorities the fact of what the traffic is in the town and how it is building up. And if we've got this in a 3 years period, if it proves that it's gone up, say 50% in that 3 years, we've got proof there to prove it to these people.
Right, we've got Caroline here from Breckland. So if we close the meeting a moment, allow her to answer any questions that council have. Any questions, please, regarding this?
Do you want to explain it to us? Because you could explain it better than I could.
No, I thought you explained it very well. The only
Appreciation, very nice.
I wanted to raise is that, so I'm placemaking partnerships manager at Breckland. I'm looking after the town delivery plans across all 5 of our towns. This is technology that we're looking to install everywhere. Dereham have already agreed for us to install. We're doing that's the coming months. The data that this technology will give us will enable us to go for more funding applications. This is what funders want to see. It's the only metric which really shows the performance of the town. So, yeah, any questions?
Yeah. Have I got it right that it adds to the question of if you like capturing images of people, that it can do that, but
It doesn't record them. I think that's the important thing. The technology can count people because it is but those images are not recorded. The only time those images are recorded are during setup for like an hour to make sure that the equipment's working. So you can check on the equipment.
And the ongoing, as I read it, Breckland will pay for installation, and we would be responsible for maintenance. Is that right?
No, that's all within the capital cost that we'd be covering, and then the remainder will be coming out of the HAS budget. Well, not the HAS, the next phase of the High Street Heritage Actions.
But will there be a point further on that where we will be
cut a point where we can all walk away from it, or just one party would decide to keep it going, or look for a different supplier.
Right, and do you know what the ongoing or the maintenance costs would be?
The maintenance costs are all included in the prices that we.
But even in three years' time,
I couldn't tell you, but the technology, I have worked with these systems in Norwich, and it tends to be much in terms of maintenance. The machines, once they're up there, they're kind of up there. And also when you then set up another contract, it would probably include maintenance within that.
You can scrap it after 3 years anyway, can't you?
Yeah.
You can sue if you don't like it. Just be sorry, Stuart. You do that. When we met you and the guy who was explaining it's the implication for funding in there that it's really crucial to this. Because if we want the sort of funding that other towns are going to get, then we've got to get the evidence. Yeah. And this is one of the only sound ways that most funders will acknowledge as being good evidence. Am I right there?
Absolutely. And for the case in Dereham, we're looking to remodel the marketplace there. We're looking at doing some feasibility work, and the cameras are going to inform that piece of work to show the amount of traffic going through the town, but also in relation to how many people are spending money on the high street. The other point with PFM, that our preferred supplier, is they're associated with the I think it's the Market Towns Association. So the data will be able to show how Swafham's market is performing in comparison to other markets across the UK. So it's useful.
As we're suspended state, I wondered what our district councillors, because this is Breckland project. Will you ask them?
We have suspended standing orders for a moment. William can speak if he wishes to.
Oh, no, it's the district councillors. It's Breckland's project, isn't it?
I do apologise, district, not county.
Can I ask you, Caroline, to make it clear as to the costing of this in Joe's report, which the council have all got, yes?
Yes.
In paragraph 2.2, and I'm just saying this, but I think this needs to be clarified for the town council. The town council will take responsibility for the installation in coordination with Joe Warburton and cover the ongoing costs. The estimated cost for the information and reporting is £630 per annum. Wrexham District Council have funds to cover capital works, but not for the ongoing costs of the project. So could you tell the council whether in fact Swaffham Town Council is therefore responsible for £630 per annum?
Yes, however, Swaffham Town Council are contributing towards the house scheme. So it will be offset from the money that, from
Thank you.
the
Okay.
scheme.
Right, I just want to make sure that the council understands that
Yeah.
particular paragraph. Thank you.
Sorry, I'd like to, I live on Mangate Street, my name's Joseph Clovis. And I'd just like to ask that, Caroline, if I could ask a question on the cameras. The first thing is that you said that they're just recording, basically looking for footfalls.
Yes.
Well, if you want to know, because you want to know how the town is performing financially, well, surely the simplest way to find that out would be to ask or get all the companies, the shops and everything to say, well, you know, about the number of customers you've had, and that information could be correlated. But
Yes, that's quite resource heavy.
no, but they would just submit it. You'd have obviously you'd go in a form and people would just submit information. But that said, the surely when you say that it's not going to take a picture of face, although it has that significant resolution from what I understand to be able to do that. The only difference it seems to me, and I know a little bit about technology, is a software change. So you can capture faces. So although today
The cameras themselves are not directed to show your face. They're directed to.
They're an arch along the street, so obviously it's going to depend on.
They're not.
it's software change to make it to record. It's just a software, literally.
Yes, but that's not, however, that's not in the contract that we would be agreeing to. So we, in that 3-year contract, we would not be recording anybody. So that would not be what you would be agreeing with the company who would be supplying this technology. And the other thing to say is that this technology is being used, you know, everywhere. In London, it's being used everywhere. In train stations, it's being used. In supermarkets, it's being used. We are all being recorded in terms of numbers of people going through areas. This is happening in a lot of urban areas.
It doesn't, just because it's happening everywhere, it doesn't mean that. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll do. Right, any other questions from the council?
I've got a statement I want to make. That's
One at a
okay.
time, please.
The alarm bell started ringing for me with this when back in February, this item was put onto assets and business spaces in that committee. So they basically tried to bury it there. And luckily, I'm not even on that committee, but luckily I looked at the agenda and I decided that it needed to be an issue for the whole council to decide because it's quite significant. So I brought it to full council. And I wasn't going to mention about William trying to interrupt the discussion during was actually in the middle of it. And after the meeting, the deputy mayor actually he emailed Tony White from the 2020 campaign and asked him to convince and influence Breckland that the cameras would indeed be beneficial after the full council had voted against it. And then considerable pressure, I found out, was put on some existing councillors by an ex-Breckland councillor, not in the room at the moment, to bring this issue back to full council for another vote, which has indeed happened. The deputy mayor, he invited Breckland Council to come and speak to us, representatives to speak to councillors, and I attended the meeting. So I was there in an attempt to convince them that the cameras would be a good idea. Also in attendance, as was mentioned, was a representative from PFM who were they're hoping to sell their cameras to district council. So do we seriously think that any of these people are able or willing to give an unbiased opinion about the capacity of these surveillance cameras? Have councillors yet read the 45-page specification on these cameras that we were provided with prior to February's meeting. I noticed that they've been considerably abridged for this council meeting. They're down to 23 pages. Perhaps councillors would rather take the opinions of the PFM salesman to inform their decision than to take the time and effort to read their paperwork. I read the specification, and these cameras have the capacity for facial and number plate recognition. There's no doubt about that. The PFM rep even admitted, and you'll remember this during the meeting, I didn't say very much at the time, but he admitted during the meeting that the cameras could even identify the gender of people within its catchment. And when I challenged him on this point, why would gender be important if only footfall was being measured? He was unable to answer. So, I mean,
Lindsay, can I just stop there for a moment? It's been reassigned to this agenda.
I know, I'm just saying.
Yes. We are here to decide if Swaffham Town Council gives permission. Yes. And whether it will be worthwhile for our residents is the main reason we have to make a decision. No, not yet. Lindsay's. This is
one more thing about just about. Well, everybody has to have a talk. I'm going to have a talk about these cameras. They're called Starlight 5100IIR. Has anybody looked at the specification for these cameras? These are the very ones that were mentioned. Has anybody looked at it?
Pretty good cameras.
Have you looked at the specification?
Keep quiet.
Right, well, they are developed, and they're Bosch cameras, so they're made in Germany, not Switzerland, as I think the rep said. But they are developed. This is what it says on Google search. First thing that came up, they are developed for city surveillance and perimeter protection with enhanced image quality, improved zoom capabilities. They're specifically designed for outdoor surveillance applications, excellent in low light performance, so they can recognise who you are in the dark, and they've got some sort of light on them so that they can see you in wet conditions as well. It captures usable images 24/7, so all the time, and they are clear, relevant images in low light conditions, and it can identify objects. It can identify objects up to 320 meters.
Can we
away.
Lindsay, thank you. I think the council gets the gist of what you're saying. I've just got one question before we go back in session. One question. Right, the cameras, they monitor traffic movement, etc., people movement. If you decide that the traffic in Swaffham is absolutely diabolical within the next 3 years, what would be the solution? There has to be a point to us spending money on cameras if it's not. Well, we are in 3 years' time.
If we
Yeah, the solution. The question is, these monitor traffic and people movement. Yep. Yes. Joe told us that it was to do all sorts of wonderful things about bypasses and things like that.
Part of the plan for the next phase of the Swaffham Historic High Street is to look at how we can potentially change the layout of the marketplace to reduce the amount of traffic. But as this could be a phased approach. And this data would be the foundations of saying why that change needs to happen. So when we speak to our county colleagues, we can say we've actually got a little bit of data to inform why we want to pursue this, why we want to do further feasibility work on how the modelling, how we could look at modelling it differently.
Right.
Just say, in answer to Lindsay's bit about my email to Tony White about the 2020, it was to inform him that we'd had this offer and to let them know what the situation was. And I thought it would help his group if he knew about this system going in, because he is struggling with traffic around the town as much as what I do. And I think it was a purpose was to help him, and I thought the Heath group might be able to put some pressure on to Breckland to provide it perhaps in a different way of funding it, which maybe could have happened, but I don't know.
The point is,
Everybody had a copy of that email.
Sorry, right, we're back in session.
Sorry.
We will need to vote on this. So, proposal.
Well, I propose that we accept it and go ahead with the system.
Second. Len second up. Right, those in favour of going ahead? Those against going ahead? Oh, I actually don't believe it. Oh, I don't see it. That we're spending 650. Anyway, right, so are there any
You're
abstentions?
not spending 600. Sorry, get out of your head. You're not spending 650. It's coming out of the money that you've already allocated to the first project.
Yes, you're £650.
Sorry, but you're making a misstatement, Mr. Mayor.
Well, Mr. Mayor is absolutely correct. Swaffham Town Council agreed to give this project a lump of money. Yes, irrelevant what they spend it on, yes, it's still coming out of Swaffham Town Council's coffers. Therefore, it's coming out of the people of Swaffham. Thank you. Right, moving on.
Right, John.
So motion was.
It's too long, we didn't want to have. Yeah.
Okay, right, to consider community grant application, Swaffham Cricket Club. You've all read. There.
They contacted me, I gave them the application, they filled it in, they've given us all their accounts, which you've all had a look at. And they're asking for £500. We have £500 in the budget this year for community grants.
So.
I propose we give it to, I say.
So who's all in favour? Against that one.
That's the quickest one will tell you. So next one.
Right.
No.
Thank you.
That's what the copper says.
Thank you, Paul.
I see now.
Yeah, for swapping people. Thank you, Paul. 1324, to consider request from ICD Partnership to gain outline permission for any building works which may be needed to install a new boiler. Boiler sale going on. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't start a debate.
Their costs.
Yes, that's just, we're purely agreeing to the.
For them to say to do it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
We've got to agree as well.
what?
Thank you. If Judy wants to answer any questions on it very quickly.
I'm just going to read out exactly what this was all about. This is a grant by the VCSE, which obviously Town Council can't apply for it because it's for voluntary community and social enterprise organisations. The current system we have in terms of the boiler has been limping for quite some time, not dissimilar to the museum one. We've had a couple of repairs recently that have actually tested the system. Some of the parts are becoming less available and we're improvising as needed. The boiler is over 20 years old. We are now at the third stage of this grant, having done an expression of interest. The next stage was a visit from an assessor, for which the consultant has now gone to a supplier for quotes for an air source heat pump and solar panels for the roof. The aim is to be net zero energy wise. Whether that will include payback from the grid, obviously at this stage isn't clear. Is envisaged that the improvements would have paid for itself in 7 years. How achievable that is remains to be proved. But at this stage, that is the objective. And the grant, if awarded, must be spent by March 2025. And we will need permissions, obviously, if we get a grant for solar panels. So that have to go with planning permission, but that's another subject. So it's all about saving money and making it more cost effective and net zero.
Any question before I go back in session?
No. All positive.
Right, we're back in session. So The item to consider a request from Iceni Partnership to gain outline planning permission for any building works which may be needed to install the new boiler. Can we have a proposal?
I would like to propose it.
Second, all those in favour? Unanimous.
Yeah.
We got it.
Thank you. We did that one.
Lizzie didn't vote.
Oh, sorry, I thought you did on that, wasn't it?
No,
No, I do apologise, Lindsay. I see your hand go up. Are you against it or you abstaining?
Yes.
Positions abstaining. Right, 1424 to consider a motion by councillors Alinsky regarding 21 hour speed limit refund. Believe?
Yeah. Okay, has everyone read this motion?
Yes.
I don't spend too much time on it. I'm sure you all know the sad tale of it. The Mayor and myself attended a meeting with the area highway engineer, with the clerk. We couldn't get to the bottom of how that the scheme we thought we were getting was changed. No explanation. So Councillor Nunn did his best to find out. Still no explanation. So I think in the circumstances, it's rightful that we ask for our money back because we're not getting what we thought we were paying for.
Can I just give you the update from yesterday's highway meeting when I told him this is coming up? Is that okay?
Yes.
He's just said the cost of the project so far is £17,000. Contributions have been made by £4,000 from Swaffham Town Council and £5,000 from Medcom, and the rest will be from Norfolk County Council. The cost of the signage alone was £6,500. He has spoke to the previous highway engineer who says he never promised a blanket area to the former Norfolk County councillor. 20-mile-per-hour areas in Wales is brought in because any area with a street light is automatically put down to 20 miles an hour. This law was changed by the Welsh Assembly. That's all he has. So he said, you're obviously entitled to ask for your money back, and if you do, he will take that to council consideration.
can we just come in here, please? You may recall we had a meeting with that same chap about a pedestrian crossing at Iceland, in inverted commas, somewhere along that line. And he said then that to do the report, just to test, to see if it was needed. I think that was either £2,000 or £4,000 purely for a pedestrian crossing. And I've had this conversation with John. So us to chip in £4,000 for that length of road, to me, is unremarkable. The fact we thought it was something else is probably could be awful, but nonetheless, these people, how they run up these bills, I will never ever understand it.
Wasn't we led to believe it was length and breadth of the road? Wasn't it?
Just further, I didn't think I put that in here, but Tony White, who is the organiser for the 2020, actually checked out with the 2020 national organisation about this, sought their advice, and they said that scheme was not good value for the taxpayers' money.
No. It does start on Monday.
Who cares?
And if it doesn't affect anyway, if it starts on Monday, then we can still ask for our money back. Right, so we need.
That's probably why the precept has gone up so much if these sorts of schemes are going ahead.
Can I propose my motion? Please, like someone else
Yeah, I'll
do.
second.
Second it. Those in favour of asking for a refund for what we didn't get in.
Good luck with that.
Hello, Wendy. Come on, Wendy. Put your hand up.
Take time to get the money back.
Well done, Wendy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's trying to get the money back.
You try for it. That's it. All look on the books. Apologise. Right, moving on. Thank you. Right, review and adopt town council policies. Mayor and deputy mayors have me shocked before instantly takes over. The policy, you've all looked at it, the changes are highlighted.
Can I just ask a general question of all of these? I take it they're just a reinstatement of a policy that was approved some time ago. So none of these really changed.
So we've looked on them in the
highlighted, yeah.
That's right. There in deputy, the word town is taken out in front of it.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand why, but he's still the town deputy.
No, he's always asked that.
Okay, so we're okay with the policies, please vote, show of hands, we do need these. Yep, all in favour of both.
Administration.
Yes, so, thank you very much. Right, finance, received receipts from March 2024. You've all perused them.
Bye.
Sure. Bye-bye. Yes, you've all looked.
Just to say I did get the 50% of, no, more than that, of the deposit back from the Stan and Stair lift. So we've got some money come back from that. We have 3,500 come back from that.
So that's always good. So anyway, right, so we've looked at them. Any questions, queries? No. Okay. So can we show of hands, please, that we accept them? Thank you. And approve the payments for accounts April 2024. We looked at them, yes. And, are we going to propose, second and approve? Yes, and doing a really good job lately. And you. Thank you. And approve bank reconciliation up to date of the agenda. We looked at the numbers, it all looks good, yes. Show of hands, please, thank you. Thank you very much. All approved. Right.
And that's that.
To agree, the date of the annual town assembly followed by the annual meeting for Wednesday, 8th of May at 6 p.m. to be held in the council chambers at Swaffham Town Hall. Agree items, if any items you require, please let the office know the dates. So all it leaves me to say, thank you very much. Meeting.
Thank you. Like you say, that was such a joyous meeting.